What's up, everybody? This is 813 Wish coming at you live with another edition of What Have You, the hearsay, the never talk, you know. What red herrings do we have this morning? A couple of shiny nickels, I guess, if I could wooden myself out for a moment. You know, let me just get and talk about the calligraphy that is going on that we don't know about. Let me tell you why it's important to be an early investor. If you have calligraphy, and the principality of calligraphy were to essentially liberate the entire infrastructure of the information technology field, saving mankind from whatever attachment and materialization existentialism therefore had, you would you would have a basis of turnover, you know. The most important aspect of itemization, of being a principality in life, is the seed of knowledge. It is the root in the right zone of basics, you know, of materialization, of appearance. You know, if you have the core principalities of calligraphy available to you, why wouldn't you take advantage of that then? I mean, moreover, if it's such a simple topic and so intuitive, people saying no to it are nothing more than just denying the principality instead of trying to come to terms with its understanding and its involvement. What I'm getting at here is the holographic universe is a principality. It's a toolkit for imaginary tools, for your terminologies and your methodologies and your meddlings. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need the holodeck. You don't need holograms. You don't need Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? What you need is the terminologies, the science behind it, the understanding, the books, the know-how, and you need to practice it. The first form of calligraphy was writing. I don't know if anybody knows that. It's actually a little known fact. Scribes will know that. Transcriptionists might even know that. The very first wave of holograms, messages sent from outer space that essentially, the background interference patterns and us justifying ourselves as we interfere with each other and God sending us, information and stuff. But the first wave of that was writing, and it's essentially calligraphy, graven script, pyrography. What it led to ultimately. It was some form, some art. It was a big art form. At least it will be. But not a lot of people get into it. You know, you don't have people talking about holographic universe. What you get is people talking about the Big Bang Theory TV show. And although the Big Bang is an important concept, what happens on this show is very trivial. There's really nothing. If you're 35 years old and you're single, you've been working for 20 years, yeah, you probably watch the Big Bang Theory. You need something. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I mean, you get people who are, highly active in the social networking environments, and yet they have nothing to say to each other. Why is this? Well, because they have a bigger tool than the books. They have the internet. So there's these different aspects of intuition that are being challenged here. And ultimately, it'll be considered nothing short of the test of time. The very first forms of technology were farming and stuff, cooking, even prostitution. I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, it was all relative to a locality. And the problem is that now we're seeing reflections on that but they're being based on occupation instead of competition. So what's happening here is people are going into questioning and inquisitioning God for themselves, and they don't have enough experience in the network and the net systems, the nets and the neuropathologics, the metaphysiologists who are in these fields feel that they have more experience than is needed, only because they don't have enough sociology outlets for the amount of experience they possess. And this is because we are not getting smarter in the outer reaches of the cities and environments where the train ends up. So if the train can't end up somewhere, it's because stop B doesn't work, and that's why the train isn't there. You know what I'm saying? So while it might be everybody's fault that nobody's getting smarter, believe the last person in line gets the chow. And that's what's happening. So you get a temporary conclusion. You get a temporary king. They come and go, and whether or not they did a good job, depending on how the society was built, how strong they were as a people, is how they hang. Everything from hanging around loitering to hanging at the gallows and dying. You don't want that. You don't want to be the wrong impundent. You don't want to be the foiler. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the cavalier, the pioneer. You want to be the enthusiast. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be the go-getter rebel gentleman that everybody goes to for, a room to crash for to the night, or maybe $1 for, helping someone cross the street. Now they want a soda and they just don't have it. Neither does she. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. If you can take into consideration what you don't learn and then put it towards something that you want to do, then yeah, you would be excused from any kind of classification upheaval that would have been eluded by lack of progress or something. And I say that because a lot of people don't get into holography, they don't get into the universe, they don't get into meditation and stuff like that, and I understand there are religious arguments for prosecution and intolerance. However, getting to know people personally on purpose and coincidentally, quite invasively and forcefully, through methodologies such as job and sacrifice and devotion and union, does not excuse, involvements such as, alienation, criminality, and melancholyism, indigo and vertigo, versus flora and fauna. If you don't want to talk about the intellectual properties and don't want to get yourselves involved in the universe at large, then you won't be involved in its beautification. So you can't therefore complain, and we're not saying that you won't because we hear that you do, but we're just saying that there's going to be another fight which we're going to avoid, and we can avoid that concept too. So this would happen in a matter of years. This would take place in the matter of years that would have ultimately possessed the will to proceed in technological advancement and to learn. So instead of learning, we were pre-planning. And now we don't end up with no friends, we end up with new friends. And the old friends we had are essentially new occupants of other jobs that we will never be able to wrangle with in the same mannerisms anymore. So all this happens in the blink of an eye, believe it or not. It happens in the beginning of the ushering of the technology itself. So like I said, writing was the first methodology of calligraphy. It was pyrography at its finest because you didn't need fire. You could use quill and pens and have letters and stuff, and it was essentially a cold storage solution to a desire or problem burning, like letters being passed, codes being accepted, things like that. It all led to the beginnings of war, this and that, and it actually solidified war too. So it's been proven. So these are all graven topics that are commonly stood on. And what happens is people get very accustomed to the way things work. But you have to be working to be doing that. Like, you have to be doing... What I'm saying is people would lose their system ultimately. you can't just believe in a system either, because over time even that doesn't work. If you're not contributing to the system more than probably 60% realistically, then it takes longer to get parties more involved. So there has to be an exponential involvement, and that's really where the holographic universe comes into play. You can't have an exponentiality in matter and entertainment, because what happens is there's a tangible aspect of resource allocation in question, and you just don't have enough. So you need fun, instead of function. And another way Graven antics come into play in that aspect is promisings, trusts, fortune tellings and things of that nature, and so we occupy more time. So and the reason why this aspect is important, because it's been happening all along. You essentially have a grand decade in the origins of man that would have been repeated over time. And in order to change that, you have to be an individual, but you end up learning that because of the holographic universe is so vast, topics are so vague, and that happened so long ago, that if you did repeat that today, it would only be to your benefit and not to the system. You still have to do that, though. It's not worthless, you see. Like I said, if your system doesn't fail, that doesn't mean your ship is safe. That means the ocean is running dry. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta do it for yourself. So I'm only trying to touch base on this stuff. I'm not really trying to rant and rave and everything. I know I talk a lot. I spend a lot of time to myself. You know what I'm saying? But I do care. So just want to leave you with that tidbit. Writing is so important. Reading is so important. You end up doing more of one or the other than normal, and you end up alleviating more or less one or the other. But that's what you find in your partnership. Because of Graven, we can't have promise. We can't have a fallout. There will be union, but there must be education. So this has been 813 Wish, another installment of the talks and experiences going on about the new paradigm, and hope everybody's having a good, rational day. Hope the week is very relative to everyone, and may the light of God shine upon us all. Help someone cross the street, plant a tree, shake someone's hand, give someone $1. It's been 813 Wish, and I'm saying peace.